Have you ever found yourself feeling completely drained by certain people in your life? Those who seem to take and take without ever giving back? Whether it's a family member who always seems to have a crisis, a friend who only calls when they need a favor, or even an acquaintance who thrives on your kindness, these interactions can leave you emotionally and mentally exhausted. You may start to wonder, why does it feel like no matter how much I give, it's never enough? If you've ever felt manipulated, overlooked, or unappreciated, this is the video you've been waiting for. Today, we're tackling an important topic: the 5 toxic types of people to watch out for in your later years. Recognizing these behaviors can help you protect your peace, safeguard your happiness, and hold on to your independence. As we get older, we often fall into patterns of feeling overly responsible for others, especially if we've spent much of our lives caring for family, supporting friends, or managing obligations. While generosity is a beautiful thing, it's easy for it to spiral into self-sacrifice, leaving us depleted and resentful. But here's the truth: setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential for your mental and emotional well-being. Boundaries don't just protect your health, they pave the way for a fulfilling and joyful life. In this video, we're here to help you recognize toxic behaviors like manipulation, narcissism, relentless criticism, irresponsibility, and ingratitude. We'll also give you practical strategies to manage these relationships effectively without compromising your sense of self. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools you need to take back control of your golden years. Your time and energy are precious, and you deserve relationships that inspire and uplift you, not ones that drain and diminish your joy. Together, we'll explore how to set healthy boundaries, rediscover your self-worth, and create a circle of people who truly value and appreciate you for who you are. These changes will allow you to reclaim your life and fully embrace the peaceful, fulfilling future you've worked so hard to earn. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank you for being here. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you'll never miss an upload. Your support means the world to me, and if you find this video helpful, please consider liking and sharing it with others who might benefit from these lessons. It's a small way to help this community grow and continue spreading valuable insights. Finally, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoy this topic and want to see more like it, please comment 1 below. If not, comment 0, and let me know how I can improve or what topics you'd prefer to see in the future. Now, let's get started. First, the manipulator. As we age, the value of peace and emotional balance becomes immeasurable. After decades of managing responsibilities, raising families, or building careers, this phase of life should be about savoring tranquility and fulfillment. Yet, manipulators, often disguised as people in need of help or sympathy, can disrupt this balance. At first glance, their behavior may not seem harmful. They may genuinely need assistance, and it's natural to want to lend a hand. But over time, their dependence morphs into toxicity, leaving you emotionally drained and questioning how you ended up feeling this way. Picture this. It's a peaceful morning. You're sitting by the window, sipping coffee, reflecting on the beauty of a life well lived. You've worked hard to get here and earned every bit of this serenity. Then the phone rings. It's someone you know, maybe your nephew, Rick, or a neighbor, Susan. They're asking for a favor, perhaps a ride to the store, a small loan to get by until payday, or some help with an errand. Of course, you say yes. It's no big deal this time. But as the weeks go by, Rick starts calling more often, and Susan seems to only reach out when she needs something. Soon, you notice a pattern. The calls always come with requests, and when you're unavailable, they imply you're selfish or inconsiderate for not helping. This is the hallmark of a manipulator. They wield guilt like a weapon, turning your kindness into an obligation. They frame their demands as urgent crises, making it nearly impossible for you to say no without feeling like you're letting them down. What started as a few small favors has become a constant source of stress, chipping away at your freedom and the joy you once found in your retirement. Over time, this dynamic can overshadow your sense of independence. Instead of enjoying your golden years, you feel tethered to the demands of others, weighed down by the emotional toll of an increasingly one-sided relationship. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to reclaiming your peace. Manipulators often bank on your desire to avoid confrontation, knowing you'd rather keep the peace than risk hurting their feelings. But here's the truth. Saying no isn't an act of cruelty, it's an act of self-preservation. Your time, energy, and mental health are invaluable, and protecting them is not selfish, it's necessary. The antidote to manipulation is setting clear, firm boundaries. Start by identifying what you're willing to do and what you're not. For instance, if Rick calls again asking for a ride, you can simply say, "I'm sorry, I can't help with that today." There's no need to justify or explain your decision. Boundaries aren't up for debate. They exist to preserve your peace. If Susan continues to call only when she needs something, ask yourself whether this relationship adds value to your life or just drains your resources. Relationships should be built on mutual respect and care, not duty or obligation. Remember, your generosity is a gift, not a resource to be exploited. True friends and loved ones will appreciate your kindness without taking advantage of it. If someone's presence consistently leaves you feeling drained or taken for granted, it may be time to reevaluate their role in your life. Let go of the fear of disappointing others. You've earned the right to prioritize your well-being. Surround yourself with people who uplift and value you for who you are. By setting boundaries, you create an environment where your golden years can truly shine. Saying no to a manipulator is saying yes to your happiness, peace, and independence. It's a decision worth making every single time. Second is the egocentric narcissist. As we move into the later years of life, our priorities often shift toward reflection, connection, and meaningful relationships. This is a time to cherish our stories, share the wisdom we've gained, and enjoy the company of people who truly see and value us. Unfortunately, not every interaction is nourishing for the soul. Some individuals, often referred to as egocentric narcissists, have an uncanny way of making every moment about themselves, leaving you feeling invisible, unimportant, and drained. Imagine you're sitting in your favorite armchair, chatting with your daughter, Emily, or an old friend, Mike. You decide to share a cherished memory. Maybe the time you pulled off a surprise party for your spouse or a story about the lessons you learned during your first job. As you begin, Emily interrupts. "That reminds me of the time or Mike jumps in with, "Oh, you think that's something? Wait until you hear this." You try again to tell your story, but they keep steering the conversation back to their own experiences. What should be an enjoyable exchange turns into a one-sided performance where you feel like a mere audience member in their show. Over time, you notice a pattern. They rarely ask about your life, your feelings, or your achievements. Every interaction seems to revolve around their own needs, struggles, or triumphs. Narcissists like Emily or Mike may not even realize the impact of their behavior, but their constant need for attention can overshadow your voice, making you feel invisible. For older adults, this dynamic can be particularly hurtful. After a lifetime of rich experiences, you deserve to share your stories and emotions with people who genuinely care. Yet, a narcissist often offers little room for mutual exchange. Instead, they monopolize conversations, center their narratives, and expect you to play a supporting role in their life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to protecting your peace. Narcissists often mask their self-centered nature with charm, humor, or charisma, making it easy to overlook their egocentric tendencies at first. Over time, however, their lack of empathy and inability to genuinely celebrate or support others become glaringly obvious. They may dismiss your achievements, downplay your struggles, or ignore your feelings altogether, expecting you to focus entirely on their needs and accomplishments. So, how can you manage relationships with egocentric people? The answer lies in setting boundaries. This doesn't always mean cutting them out of your life, though in some cases that may be necessary. But it does mean limiting their ability to dominate your time and energy. For example, if Mike keeps interrupting you during conversations, you can gently steer it back. Mike, I'd like to finish sharing this story. It's important to me. If Emily dismisses your feelings, calmly assert your needs. Emily, I hear what you're saying, but this moment matters to me too. These statements may feel uncomfortable at first, but they help re-establish balance and remind the narcissist that your voice matters. It's equally important to remind yourself that their behavior does not reflect your worth. Narcissists often lack the emotional capacity to fully appreciate others, but that doesn't diminish the value of what you bring to the table. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Friends, family members, or community connections who genuinely care about your opinions and experiences. These relationships are the ones that will nourish your spirit and bring true meaning to your golden years. Letting go of the desire to impress or please a narcissist can be liberating. It frees you to focus on the people and activities that truly matter. Life is far too precious, especially at this stage, to waste on one-sided relationships that leave you feeling empty. Instead, choose connections grounded in empathy and mutual care, relationships that celebrate the richness and beauty of your journey. In moments of reflection, remember this simple truth. Your story, your feelings, and your presence matter. No one, not even the most self-centered person in your life, has the power to take that away. By valuing yourself and setting boundaries, you set the standard for how others should treat you. This is the foundation of a fulfilling and joyful existence, one that honors the life you've built and the legacy you continue to create. Third, the critic. One of the most valuable lessons we can embrace in our later years is the ability to live authentically, accepting who we are and appreciating all that we've achieved. Aging brings with it a sense of clarity and freedom, but there's one group of people who can challenge this peace: the relentless critics. These individuals always seem to find faults, often disguising their negativity as helpful advice or constructive feedback. While their words may appear well-meaning on the surface, they can cut deeply, undermining your self-esteem and fostering feelings of inadequacy. Critics are often motivated by their insecurities and anxieties. Take, for instance, your neighbor Diane, who always has something to say about your gardening choices, or your cousin Joe, who questions how you spend your retirement. Their comments, "Don't you think your yard would look better with more flowers?" Or "Why are you taking up painting at your age?" may not seem harsh at first, but over time, they accumulate. These remarks often reveal more about their frustrations than anything about you. Diane might feel envious of the time you spend outdoors, or Joe might be grappling with regrets about not pursuing his passions. Understanding this doesn't necessarily soften the sting, though. Words have power, and hearing constant criticism can make even the most confident person question their worth. But here's the truth. You are not defined by the opinions of others. Their critiques, no matter how persistent, are just that, opinions. They are not facts, nor do they have the authority to reshape how you view yourself. After a lifetime of triumphs, struggles, joys, and losses, you've become someone remarkable, shaped by your unique experiences. When faced with criticism, ask yourself this: is this feedback coming from a place of kindness and genuine care? If the answer is no, let it go. You don't owe anyone the emotional labor of absorbing their negativity. For example, if someone criticizes how you spend your time, whether it's traveling, taking up new hobbies, or simply enjoying quiet moments, respond with calm confidence. "I appreciate your concern, but I'm happy with the way I'm living my life." This simple yet powerful statement sets a boundary while reaffirming your autonomy. Another effective tactic is to redirect the conversation. Critics often thrive on negativity, and changing the subject can diffuse their influence. Imagine your sister-in-law, Karen, commenting on your decision to take up yoga. "Isn't that too strenuous for your age?" You could respond with, "That's an interesting perspective, but I'm feeling great about it." Speaking of health, how's your walking routine going? Redirecting the focus not only shifts the energy of the conversation, but also subtly reinforces your confidence. The key to handling criticism lies in surrounding yourself with people who celebrate and uplift you. Whether it's a friend who shares your love of photography, a local book club, or a community group at the senior center, these connections are the antidote to negativity. Positive relationships are like a burst of sunlight on a cloudy day. They illuminate the good in life and remind you of your inherent worth. It's also crucial to remember that criticism only has the power you give it. Detractors can share their opinions, but those opinions don't dictate your value, your achievements, or your happiness. You've worked hard to reach this stage of life, and you deserve to live it on your terms, free from the weight of others' judgments. As you reflect on your journey, hold on to this truth: you are enough. You always have been. No critique, no matter how relentless or harsh, can take away the essence of who you are. By letting go of the negativity and focusing on the beauty of your own story, you open the door to living with confidence, joy, and peace. Life is too precious to waste worrying about what others think. Instead, focus on what brings you happiness and fulfillment, and cherish the people who genuinely see and respect you for who you are. Fourth, the irresponsible. In your later years, when the weight of past responsibilities begins to ease, life should feel lighter, freer, and more peaceful. The last thing you need is to carry the burden of people who refuse to shoulder their responsibilities. The irresponsible, whether they are family members, friends, or acquaintances, have a way of dragging others into their chaos, leaving you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially exhausted. Their behavior disrupts the calm and balance you've worked so hard to create, turning what should be your golden years into a time of unnecessary stress. Picture this: your nephew Eric calls, again. He's gotten himself into financial trouble, this time from overspending on something frivolous. He tells you it's an emergency and promises that if you just help him out this one last time, he'll get his act together. You agree, but only because you want to believe him. A month later, Eric is back on the phone with another crisis. This cycle repeats, and suddenly you're left wondering, are you helping Eric, or are you enabling him to avoid taking responsibility for his actions? Irresponsibility isn't just about poor choices. It's about refusing to face the consequences of those choices and expecting others to clean up the mess. Irresponsible individuals often rely on the kindness and compassion of others to bail them out, knowing that people with good hearts, like you, find it hard to turn away someone in need. They appeal to your sense of duty, particularly if they're young parents or relatives you've helped in the past. Over time, though, their dependence stops being a temporary lifeline and starts feeling like exploitation. Compassion and kindness are noble virtues, but they must be balanced with self-respect and discernment. Constantly rescuing someone who refuses to take responsibility for their actions doesn't just drain your energy. It prevents them from learning the life skills they need to grow and improve. Responsibility is something that can only be learned by facing the natural consequences of one's actions. By stepping in every time, you're unintentionally depriving them of the chance to evolve and take control of their own lives. Setting boundaries with irresponsible people is not an act of cruelty. It's an act of love, for both you and them. Start by recognizing your limitations and reminding yourself that you are not obligated to solve problems that aren't yours to fix. For instance, if Eric calls again asking for money, you could respond with, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that." Perhaps it's time to look into other resources or financial counseling. This response is firm but compassionate, preserving your resources while gently encouraging Eric to find a solution on his own. Irresponsible people often use guilt as a tool to get what they want, implying that if you don't help them, you don't care. But the truth is, your concern can manifest in other, healthier ways. Offering emotional support, advice, or simply being present for them without taking on their burdens is still a form of care. Your role isn't to solve their problems. It's to empower them to solve their own. The golden years should be about joy, adventure, and self-care, not about paying the price for someone else's poor decisions. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and appreciate the help you are able to offer without expecting more. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding, and gratitude, not on one-sided dependency. Take a moment to reflect on your life and everything you've achieved. You've faced challenges, overcome obstacles, and made sacrifices to get to where you are today. Don't let the irresponsibility of others overshadow the peace and happiness you've worked so hard to earn. By setting clear boundaries and prioritizing your own needs, you create an environment where you can thrive, and where others are encouraged to take responsibility for their own lives. Remember, you've earned the right to enjoy this stage of life. By focusing on your well-being and letting go of the weight others try to place on you, you can live fully, surrounded by respect, gratitude, and peace. Fifth, the ungrateful. As we grow older, giving often becomes one of life's greatest joys. Whether it's sharing our time, offering hard-earned wisdom, or simply pouring love into the lives of those we care about, knowing that our actions have made a positive impact fills us with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Generosity, at its core, is a reflection of our values and our desire to nurture the relationships that matter most. But there's a darker side to giving, one that stings deeply: the cold silence of ingratitude. Few things are as disheartening as realizing your efforts have gone unnoticed or, worse, been met with criticism. Ungrateful people have a unique ability to strip away the joy of giving, leaving you feeling devalued, discouraged, and questioning whether your sacrifices were even worth it. They make generosity feel less like an act of love and more like an expectation. Picture this. You've spent hours preparing a beautiful holiday meal for your family. You carefully planned each dish, infused every bite with love, and created an atmosphere of warmth and togetherness. As everyone sits down to eat, instead of gratitude, you hear comments like, "The turkey is a little dry this year," or "I liked it better the way you used to make it." The words might seem small, but they carry a weight that lingers, overshadowing the joy you hope to feel. Or consider another scenario. A longtime friend, someone you've always gone out of your way to help, calls you with an urgent request. You rearrange your schedule, put aside your own needs, and do everything you can to be there for them. But instead of a heartfelt thank you, they act as if your efforts were owed to them, brushing off your kindness as though it were the bare minimum they deserved. Experiences like these can be profoundly disheartening. They can make you question whether your giving nature is being taken for granted and even lead you to doubt your worth. But here's what you need to remember. Someone else's lack of gratitude is not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their inability to appreciate the gifts you bring. Ungrateful people often expect generosity without reciprocation or acknowledgement. They see kindness as a transaction rather than a gift, assuming that your efforts are simply part of the status quo. This sense of entitlement can drain your emotional reserves, leaving you feeling unappreciated and empty. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So how can you protect yourself from the sting of ingratitude? Start by reframing your perspective on giving. When you offer your time, love, or resources, do so because it aligns with your values, not because you expect a specific response. Giving without strings attached can be liberating. It allows you to focus on the act itself rather than the outcome. At the same time, it's important to set boundaries. If certain people in your life consistently fail to appreciate your efforts, it's okay to pull back. For example, if your family doesn't express gratitude for the elaborate holiday meals you prepare, consider scaling back and focusing on what brings you joy. Instead of cooking for hours, you might decide to order takeout or prepare a simpler meal that requires less effort. By prioritizing your happiness, you reclaim the joy of the occasion. Another strategy is to communicate your feelings openly and honestly. Sometimes, people don't realize the impact their lack of gratitude has on you. You might say something like, "I put a lot of love into this meal, and it would mean a lot to hear what you enjoyed about it." Or, "I'm happy to help when I can, but I'd appreciate it if you acknowledged the effort it takes." These conversations can feel uncomfortable at first, but they set the stage for healthier, more respectful relationships. Finally, surround yourself with people who genuinely appreciate and value you. Seek out friends, family members, and community connections who understand the importance of gratitude and mutual respect. These are the relationships that will uplift you and remind you of the beauty in giving. Remember, your generosity is a reflection of your heart, a heart that has weathered years of challenges, joys, and growth. The fact that someone else fails to recognize or honor that doesn't diminish its worth. You are enough, just as you are. Your kindness, your efforts, and your love hold immense value, whether or not they are acknowledged by others. In your golden years, it's especially important to protect your peace and focus on what truly matters. Let go of the need to win over ungrateful people, and instead, direct your energy toward those who see and cherish the gifts you bring. By doing so, you'll find that giving can once again become a source of joy, a beautiful expression of the life you've lived and the love you continue to share. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered today. We've explored the 5 toxic types of people: the manipulator, the egocentric narcissist, the critic, the irresponsible, and the ungrateful, and learned how to recognize their behaviors, set healthy boundaries, and protect your peace and happiness. Life is too short, especially in our golden years, to let these draining personalities steal your joy or diminish your self-worth. By focusing on relationships that bring mutual respect and positivity, you can create a life that's truly fulfilling and meaningful. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from this video that you'll start practicing in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We can all learn from each other's insights and experiences. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content that helps you live your best life. Your support means the world to us, and it allows us to continue bringing you valuable lessons and tips for a happier, healthier future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.